I'm gonna finally do a video on just the Nikko Hellgrammite and just how I fish it, how I use it. If you're new to my channel, I've been using this little Hellgrammite lure for a couple months now, and I've been catching all kinds of fish. Had the weightless Hellgrammite, just hooked it in the tail and was jerking it around. Man, this thing came up and nailed it. There's 4 to a pack. They're about $7.50 for a pack. You can order them on Amazon or go to nikko-fishing.com and order some. And they actually sent me some to try, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And then first time I used it, I was impressed. I was catching all kinds of fish. Wow, it also catches crappie. This thing hit 3 times. I didn't know what it was. And I was like, well, maybe that was just, you know, a fluke or something. And I've been going to fish creeks and rivers and mostly clear water places, and smallmouth and spotted bass, even largemouth bass, seems like they just cannot turn it down. They're just hammering it. Oh yeah! Oh my goodness, a good bass. Oh yes. Oh yes, yes. Dude! Stay down, come here. Woo, yeah! Oh my goodness, this is awesome. This is what I wanted to get. Oh, look at that, out there, a little creek. Look at that, that's a solid 2-pound bass, maybe bigger. Guess what I caught it on? I'd been fished on up. I was working my way back. I was like, let me throw around, you guessed it, the Hellgrammite, the Nikko Hellgrammite. And he took it. I even got a swivel on it. I just threw it on there, had a hook on, had it hooked up weightless, and I just tossed it in a little deep pool right there. And I was like, there may be a little fish in there that I didn't get on the way up. Man, he came up and hit it. The material is very dense and strong. You can hook it several different ways. This right here is probably my favorite setup, usually without a swivel, but just this way where it barely sinks in the water. But I also like using it like this. I got a Ned rig jig head and just got it running through there. And this is on braided line. I've fished this lure in crystal clear water where it's, you know, 4 or 5 feet deep. I can see the bottom easy. Braided line hasn't bothered me at all. Got him. Not bad. He hit it a couple of times, I think. There was a couple other ones with him. They're just coming up and hitting this, they're attacking this Hellgrammite, and usually when they bite it, they don't just nip at it, they come and hammer it. One thing I really like about this lure is it attracts every fish. Whoa, another chunky rock bass. Bigger than the last one, I think. Yeah, that's a good one. Don't come off. Oh, he's chunky. Oh, it's a Coosa bass, and it's a big Coosa bass. Nice. Dude, that's a good one. I think it's bigger than any of them I've caught in the river. Whenever I throw it in somewhere, I see fish come from all over, and usually if there's a big one in the area, if it sees it, you'll see it come straight for it. The lure itself floats. When you throw it in the water, it's just gonna float there. So if you wanna fish it top water, just put a small hook in it. You can do it that way. If you want it to sink just a little bit, this is the way I normally have it hooked. It'll kind of just sink under the water just slowly. Sometimes it'll sit to the top, but when it hits the water with the hook in it, sometimes it'll just kind of sink under, and I'll just twitch it. And just kind of move it around, let it drift in the water, and that's worked great. And of course, if you want it to sink to the bottom, it works too. You can just throw it in there, and it's gonna act like sort of like the Ned rig style, where it's gonna sink and you can just pop it back up. Basically, there's no wrong way to fish it. You can hook it whatever way you want to hook it. But if you're fishing places where there's smallmouth bass, I definitely would get some of these and try them out. All right, I'm gonna do some wading, see how clear this water is. One thing that's cool about it, and I think is gonna help me catching some fish, is it's really cold. Oh man, it's so cold. Must be a spring or something not very far up, so it's really rich. It's all kinds of little minnows and bait fish, all kinds of them swimming around. So I'm gonna start out with the watermelon flaked Hellgrammite on a Ned rig jig head. I've been using this Hellgrammite a lot recently, and I got no reason to stop, so it ought to do good in this creek. Got one. I was getting some bites from something. It's not even a bass, it's a green sunfish, big old fat one. He kept hitting on this thing, hit it like 4 or 5 times. Look at the belly on that green sunfish. Whoa, I didn't think I was gonna get that fish. Mosquito was flying in my face. And the green sunfish had a hold of it. I saw him, the water's real clear. And he finally let go of it. And, well, this looks like a little spotted bass. Yeah, a little spotted bass. That's fun. All right, man, there's definitely some fish in here. Fish are active. I know we may find some bigger ones somewhere. Oh, dude, man, I've already caught 3 fish and I've been here literally 5 minutes. Look at that bass. Wow, I must have picked a great time to come to this creek or something, but they can't resist this lure. Look at that, that's a little pound largemouth. I threw it out there and I was just reeling it in. The water's real shallow, and all of a sudden I came up behind this fish and I didn't even see him till I came up behind it with the lure and bumped him. He turned around and picked it up. A little largemouth. Oh, good one. Not too big, but strong. Another little bass, largemouth. Oh, I got one. Felt a barely, oh, nice bass. Barely felt the tug and I had him on there. Oh, goodness. That was a good bass. It came off. Man, that was a good one. I barely felt the tug and I just picked it up and he was on it. Oh, yes. Where did that dude come from? I was looking over here. Hopefully this guy don't come off. Get over here. Get over here. Goodness! That's a monster. Oh, hold on. Oh my. Oh, wow. 3-pounder, maybe. I hope so, anyways. I wish I had my scale, but I still haven't fixed the batteries in it from when I used it last time. I had to switch weightless because I lost my other one. I kept tired of getting caught on logs, and I was just casting it out, and I looked over here and I saw something, some kind of carp or something. All of a sudden I look back and this fish comes up and eats my lure. I think I got him in the lungs though, but man, that's a good fish. Too bad he's bleeding. That stinks. Whoa, that happened fast. Oh yeah, this little one followed it in, jerked it across the water, and he came up and hit it. I got it weightless now with just a hook in there, and I think probably got it on backwards, but I'm just kind of skimming it through the water. It's barely sinking. Well, I used the popper for a little bit, it didn't work too well. I'm going back to the Hellgrammite. I'm trying to hook it up weedless with a heavier hook, maybe it'll sink better. I kind of wanted it to sink in there, but I don't have a weedless sinking hook, and there's so many logs out there. There's one. I just threw it out there and just let it sink. Got a little bass. Oh! He better not have lost. Oh man, I thought he lost my lure. Whew, I can't lose any more of those things. They're a little expensive, but they're definitely worth it. And they hold together. When they get bit like that, it's not gonna fall apart.